Hello friends, welcome to Real Know. So in today's session, I am going to explain about iris dataset. Okay, in previous session I have explained about basic phases, and in today's session I am going to implement the iris dataset using Python. So first of all, let me explain you what is iris dataset. Iris dataset is actually, iris is a flower, okay, and the work what we have to do, we have to take the flower and we have to give input the flower to the machine, and machine will tell us that what is the species of the iris flower. Okay, iris flower have three types of species, that is setosa, versicolor and virginica. Okay, so the machine will identify the flower and detect which species the flower belongs to. Okay, so here you can see in the whiteboard, you can see this is virginica. Okay, you can see that I have taken the iris data set. Okay, and what features I have taken? The features I have taken: sepal length, sepal width, petal length and petal width. Okay, so what is petal? The flowers ka jo, this is the flower. If this is the flower, this is your petal. Okay, and these things, green colored things under the flower, this is your sepal. Okay, so I have taken the length of the petal and the width of the petal. Okay, as well as I have taken the length of the sepal and the width of the sepal. These four features of the iris flower I have taken, and we have taken this fourth feature and we will give the input to the machine, and let's see what the machine is detecting. The first thing which we have to do is we have to input the data set in our coding. Okay, there are two ways of inputting the data into the coding. One way already I have written in the whiteboard, another way I am telling. The other way is import pandas as PD. Suppose I will take data is equal to load underscore CSV and the path name. Okay, so the first method I am telling is, suppose I am having my data set in my system. Okay, suppose my data set is stored in a folder in C drive, D drive or E drive. Okay, in this case what we have to do, now we have to use panda library function of Python. Okay, for that what we have to do, now we have to write the first statement as import panda as PD, and the next statement importing panda library function. The next I have to use the load underscore CSV function. This is the syntax of load underscore CSV function, load underscore CSV, and I have to write the path name of the file. Suppose the location is in E drive, so total location of the file where my datasets file is stored, I have to write the path name inside the bracket, or I will copy paste it, and I will store the whatever the value after executing of the function, whatever the value will be generated, it will be stored in the data variable. Okay, it will be stored in your data variable. So this is a first way of inputting the data sets in Python. And one thing I am explaining, what is CSV. The full form of CSV is comma separated value. The full form of CSV is comma separated value. Every data files, input data files in Python are stored in .csv extension, like we have .doc, .txt, like that the input files for Python are stored in .csv extension. And the way the representation file is similar in this type table manner. The data is stored in this way, table manner, rows and columns table format. Only the thing are, after each value only a comma is inserted. Okay, the comma is inserted after each single value. Okay, so this is the format, tabular like format, and after each single value data value, a comma is inserted. So this is the format of .csv file in Python. Okay. So this is the first way in which I can input the data. My second way is from sklearn. Okay, what happens that the first method is used while the input data files is in our computer system. But if the input data files is not present in our computer system, suppose I want to take the input files from the any Python library, the function is used if the input data files are present in our computer system. But if the input data file is already present in Python libraries, then there is another syntax for inputting the data sets. Here my iris data set is present in my sklearn library. So I am directly taking from the sklearn library, I am directly taking my data sets. Okay, so here you can see this line. Okay, here you can see this line. Okay, what is the syntax? The syntax is from sklearn. Okay, sklearn is the library, and dot data sets. Inside data sets we have to import the load iris function. Okay, first we have to go to from sklearn library. Inside sklearn library I am having the data sets folder. Inside data sets or method inside data set I have to import the load iris function. Okay, that I can input my iris dataset in my coding. Okay, the next line is load iris. I have to load iris into a variable called iris. Now after writing the syntax, I can load my iris dataset into a variable called iris. So now my iris dataset are stored in variable iris. Okay, so now my input things are done. So what is my next step? Already in the previous session I have discussed my next step is pre-processing and feature selection of data. So for now I can say that there is no need of any scaling or pre-processing of data or selecting any features of data. Why? Because already my data sets are scaled and feature is selected, and then it is stored in our sklearn library function. So here you can see why my data is scaled, because here you can see the range of the range of the data sets is in between, you can feel 1 to 10. Okay, the range is not so vast. If the range is 1 to 100 or 1 to 1000 in a wide range, okay, then only we need to scale the data. The data is already scaled. Okay, so we need not have to scale the data. And the next one is feature selection. Already these 4 features. Feature means what are the features, what are the labels we are taking. The 4 features: sepal length, sepal width, petal length and petal width. These four features are relevant features which are very much necessary for our data prediction. So these are relevant features, so feature selection is not necessary. An example of irrelevant feature I am giving you. Suppose there is a feature, another feature over here, that is your fragrance or the smell of the flower. Okay, so obvious thing that the fragrance or the smell of the flower is a irrelevant data, because the smell of iris flower will be same in all the species. So that will not help in predicting which species the iris flower belong to. So that is the irrelevant feature. If any irrelevant features will be there, so we will discard it. But here the 4 features are very important for the prediction of the result. So we will no need for selecting any feature here. So our next step is training and testing phase. For that, what we have to do, training and testing phase, do what? Now it split the data sets, the complete data sets, okay, into 2 parts. Okay, more percentage of data are kept for training, and some less percentage of data are kept for your testing. Suppose 75% by default, your 25% is kept for your testing and 75% of data are kept for your training. Or you can select that how much percent you want for your testing and training. I mean 80%, 20%, 60, 40, that also you can select of yourself. But by default it is 25% is testing and 75% is testing. Okay. So for that you have to write the coding. The coding is First you have to take the variable name, that is your xtrain, you can see xtrain, and your xtest, two variables, then ytrain and ytest, these are four variables. Xtrain, in xtrain variable all the training data sets are kept, and in xtest variable all the testing data sets are kept. Okay, and ytrain is what? In ytrain the label of the data set, these are called your labels. Okay, the label of the data sets are kept, and in ytest all the labels of your testing data sets are kept. These four, okay, these four are the label of your testing data sets are kept. So this is the syntax: xtrain, xtest, ytrain, ytest is equal to your function train test split, train underscore test underscore split. This is the function. Okay, and inside the function, this is continued. Okay, and inside the function parameters you have to take there. Okay, there are three parameters in your train test split function. First is your iris data, that is your data set, and the next is this iris target, that is your target set. This is your target set. Okay, what target, what I have to achieve, what answer my target is? My target is to define the species, which species the flower belongs to. So this is your target set. So next parameter is iris target, and another third parameter is, so what is random state? Random state helps in your keeping the constant value in your training and testing data set. If you will not assign a number, if I will not assign any number to random state, so what will happen? Now each time I will do train test, I will split my data test in train test split function, the train test value will change. While training and testing, the data will be splitting into two subsets, training and testing. Each time the training and testing value will be changed. But if you assign a numeric value to random state, then each time we will perform training testing, the assigned training data subsets and testing data subsets, the assigned value will not be changed, will remain the same. For that we need to assign a number. Okay, so this is your what training testing phase. So for this library function, for training testing I need the library function, that is from sklearn library, and inside sklearn library there is a method folder model selection. Inside model selection the function train test split is present, so I have to import this train test split function. Okay, so this is the syntax: from sklearn model selection import train test split function. Okay, this is the syntax. In a library statement, in the coding you are writing, each main library assigned to it, you have to import it, you have to write it. For example, I am telling you, if there are two libraries, one is children's library, one is engineers library, right? So if you want engineers book and you enter inside children's library, can you find engineers book? No, you can find only children's book. So you have to enter into engineers library to get your what engineers book. Likewise, for every function you are using, for every function, every methods you are using in your coding, you need to also write down its respective library. So for each things I am also writing, I have also marked it, I am also writing its respective library. Okay, train test, my respective library is this one. For inputting data sets, my respective iris data set, my respective library is this one. I have also marked it. Okay, so after splitting the train test data set, my next work is to apply an algorithm. So here you can apply any algorithm and you can check how much accurate the algorithm is predicting the result. Okay, so here I have applied KNN algorithm. Before going into the coding, I am just explaining what is KNN algorithm. Okay, I am just explaining it, then I will tell you the coding syntax. First explain you what is KNN algorithm. As the name suggests, KNN, that is your K nearest neighbor. Here K can be k equal to 1, 2, 3, 4. K can be anything. You can put k value 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is the 1 nearest neighbor, 2 nearest neighbor, 3 nearest neighbor, and so on. Okay. So in my case, I have put the nearest neighbor as 1. Okay. And let us check how the algorithm actually works. This is the iris flower, X is the iris flower. Okay. And this is another iris flower. Okay. And these dots are also iris flower. So what KNN algorithm will do, KNN algorithm will calculate the distance from this iris flower to all other iris flower. Here I am calculating this distance, here I am calculating, here I am calculating. It will calculate the distance and it will go select the nearest distance. Suppose the flower X and Y distance is smallest or very nearest rather than other iris flower distance. So it will consider this distance and it will consider this Y iris flower. So what it will do? It will check for Y iris flower species. Suppose my Y iris flower species is Setosa. The algorithm will predict that X species will also be Setosa. Okay, in this way the algorithm works. So briefly I have explained you the algorithm. In another video I will only explain the mathematics of your KNN algorithm. Testing, my next work is to apply on my algorithm. For that we have to write some lines of code, right? So here you can say I have applied the KNN algorithm. The function is k neighbors classifier, and inside the bracket there is only one parameter, that is n neighbors, and I have assigned n is equal to your k values, n neighbors value is equal to 1. It means it will check for only one nearest neighbor. Okay. And the value will be assigned to KNN variable. Whatever the value will be calculated, it will be assigned to your KNN variable. After that, my next work is for fit function. In fit function what happens now? Whatever our iris data set, it is fitted into the KNN algorithm. For that the syntax is KNN dot fit, in bracket there are two parameters, that is X-train and Y-train. Okay, X-train is the training data set and Y-train is the label of the X-train data set. So these two parameters inside the fit function, and KNN dot fit is equal, so this two function inside the fit function. Okay, after this part of code, the next part is for testing. Okay, so here you can see I have taken a array. Okay, y new is the array, and I have taken 4 values, that is my sepal length width and petal length width. I have taken 4 values, okay, in a y new array. And what I have done for y new array also, one thing I'm telling, to implement any array in your Python coding, I have to also write its respective library. For array, if I want to use array in my coding, I have to write its respective library. For array, its respective library is numpy. I have to write import numpy as np. Okay, if you want to use array in your algorithm, then you have to import this library, that is import numpy as np. Okay, so after that what I have to do? Now I have to test my algorithm and I have to check, is my algorithm giving me the correct answer or not. For that I have to take a variable prediction. Okay, next what I have to do, I have to take my KNN algorithm, KNN dot function. Inside KNN there is a function called predict, so directly I have to call KNN dot predict function, and inside the predict function the value, the sepal iris dataset value which I have taken with the iris dataset value which I have taken randomly, I have taken iris dataset value. I have to pass this iris dataset value. I have to pass this I have to pass the iris dataset value inside my predict function of KNN algorithm. And whatever that, what I have to do, my next work is to check for the accuracy of the algorithm, that is it giving me the correct species name or not. For that my next work is to call the predict function of KNN algorithm. The syntax is KNN dot predict. Inside and inside predict function, whatever iris flower petal length, sepal length and petal width, sepal width I have taken, I have to pass the data inside my predict function. So in y new variable I have taken the array and I will pass this iris flower data values inside my predict function. This will give, and I will store this in a variable called prediction. Now inside my prediction variable there is the species, it has stored the predicted species name. Okay, so what I have to do next, I have to print the prediction. So if when I will print the prediction, it will give me the species name. Okay, so my output is 2. If I execute the algorithm, my output is 2. 2 means this species is 0, this species is 0, this species is 1, this species is 2, Virginica. That means my this data sets belong to species Virginica. Okay, so inside a array, inside a array like this, Setosa, your versicolor and your Virginica. Okay, your Virginica. This is an array, suppose this is an array, okay, and this is 0, 1 and 2, 0, 1 and 2. So Virginica is your array number is 2, so it has predicted the number 2. So the species belong to your Virginica. Clear? The next thing is I have to check how accurate the algorithm works. What is the error margin? So for that the syntax is knn dot, I have to call the score method, and inside the score method I have to put two parameters, that is my x test and y test. X test is my testing data set and y test is my testing data sets labels. The two parameters I have to pass and I have to print the score. So simply my score is 0.97. 0.97 means 97%. My algorithm means 97% my algorithm works correctly. Only there are 3% of error margin. So 97% is a very best fit algorithm. Means 97% it predicts me the correct species name. Okay, so my knn algorithm works and it predicts the correct species name of my iris flower. So I hope video अच्छा now. ओके, सो उम्मीद करती हूँ वीडियो अच्छा लगा, देन लाइक कीजिए, शेयर कीजिए और सब्सक्राइब टू माय चैनल. डोंट फॉरगेट, स्टे ट्यून्ड फॉर माय नेक्स्ट वीडियो ऑन मशीन लर्निंग. थैंक यू ऑल.